Hi, good morning. Welcome to your Monday edition of Canna-yoga. I'm Rachel, and this is great. So, as we always start, we're going to start our morning with a little bit of this conversation. So, just grab a sip of my beverage here. Went for a small bit, and let's talk about strains this morning. So, this morning I'm smoking on Gorilla Glue number 4. So Gorilla Glue number 4 in the industry is very, very well known. It's a very, very common strain. You can find it on pretty much any spectrum of the range between sativa and indica. So reminder, sativa is the stuff that elevates us. Think sativa, sun, indica, couch is the best way to remember that. Some people say in the streets or into bed. So sun, sativa, indica, couch. Okay, generally. Some people are reversed with that sativa indica thing. Some people will find that they can smoke a sativa and it knocks them on their butt. As we've talked about before in these classes, intention is everything, right? And so one of the things I love about GG number 4 is that it's a very intentional strain. We get to choose how we want to feel with our Gorilla Glue intake. So we get to tell the cannabinoids very strongly where they want to go. So I find when I smoke Gorilla Glue at night, I'm tired. When I smoke it in the morning, I can feel uplifted depending on my mood base when I start to partake. Okay, so the dry hit that we do. So each time we start to light our cannabis, before lighting, we take that dry hit. If when you take that dry hit, you don't like the sensation that you feel in your body, I encourage you to change strains, get something a little different in your system. Just like with food, I'll give you a for instance, I'm not a big fan of liver. Okay, so if I smell liver, I'm not going to eat it, right? Like it doesn't taste good to me. I know that's not going to sit well with my tummy, so I'm not going to go for it. So same rules apply with our cannabis. And sometimes I know it's hard to find strain specific stuff or things that you really, really like and keep those consistent. I understand that, believe me. But I do encourage you to find things that bring you joy, just as I always do with everything else, not just with our cannabis. Finding ways to bring us joy is what's really important in this lifetime. So I'm going to take another dry hit. This is really amazing. It has a really diesel-y kind of back into it. He's great. I think it's so funny that in the industry we describe some of these terpene profiles as skunky or pissy or diesel-y, right? Like gassy. And those are the good things. We want to smell those, right? So as we light our cannabis, just taking a moment to reflect as you intake that cannabis, and especially if you're using something that's very hybrid, like a Gorilla Glue, you want to be able to find that that intention setting as you light that first hit. Drawing in that cannabis, taking a moment to honor her, to give thanks. Giving opportunity here to just reflect on the history of our cannabis, where it came from, how long it's been with us, and how much it's been derived into this beautiful formation that we have today. Giving thanks for its capacity, not only to heal our bodies and give us clarity within our lives, but also to create so many of the great things on this earth. I mean, hemp alone can be used to create all sorts of paper and material products. It's also a fuel source. So many great things with the cannabis plant and the shaman. Of course, I can't name right now. Just allowing yourself to really intake that cannabis. Maybe you feel that wave wash over you of calmness, of relaxation. One of my most favorite things to do is prepare my cannabis with coffee. I know, coffee, caffeine, I know, it's one of my vices, so, um, it's better than alcohol and it's better than methamphetamine, I'll tell you that. But, we all do have those vices, and as long as we're recognizing that it's a vice and learning how to, consume less, right, and be more intentional with our consumption, it's less and less volatile for our systems, and more likely it's something we can let go of, when we're completely ready to do so. So just taking in a couple more hits here, I enjoy partaking with you on these Monday, Friday classes. Really nice to sit here and consume together and be mindful about our intention. So I'll just share my intention today. My intention was to, or is to, continue to follow my faith. Sometimes it's hard to hold the faith when we can't see the results, right? When we spend this time manifesting and asking for things in this world, and we don't quite see them coming up right away, we're so much about instant gratification as human beings that when we find those moments where the stuff pops in, sometimes we're not in the best place to receive what we've already asked for. So holding the faith, knowing that it will be coming to you and that you're deserving of it, is really the truth of the matter. And so that's something I'm working on. So my intention today is to allow this cannabis to help me free myself of worry and bring in that faith. So just get started here so we can get some class time in. I like to leave my cannabis burning a little bit, a little incense in the room. So we'll start today seated. If you're sitting cross-legged like I've been, we're just going to switch legs, bringing the opposite leg in front. Maybe it gets you out of your comfort zone. Maybe it just helps you to soften a little bit in any spaces that may have tightened up during this time. And then make sure when we're sitting on our sit bones that we move that booty flesh out of the way. We want to feel those sit bones kind of plugging into the mat. So think about your pelvis, right, and the bottom of those sit bones. That's what we want plugging into the mat. Sit up nice and tall here. And if you struggle with having the legs crossed comfortably here, you can always bring a block into play. I need to order some blocks so I can start showing you what I mean here. You can place that brick or block or even a book or pillow up underneath your bum. Just make sure, again, you're moving the flesh out from underneath and you can sit up nice and tall. We'll start with a little intention setting and a little breath, okay? So I want you to bring the palms together at the heart. You can either bring the palms on top of each other and just press into your heart like a little hug around your heart, or you can bring the palms together in prayer if you want to get a little bit more zen-y. It's always your choice here. You never have to do the religious stuff or the deep stuff, right? I really don't consider what I do religion, but some people do. So if it's not in your wheelhouse, just choose to let that part go and take with you what you choose. That's the most important part of finding your yoga practice and moving along your yoga journey, is recognizing that you get to choose, that you get to pick what you want to use, and all the other stuff you can leave behind, okay? So with those hands toward the chest, close your eyes. Keep reaching the crown of the head nice and long. We're not dropping the chin to the chest at all here. We're starting to think about our base, okay? So starting with that pelvic floor down there, you want to feel that pelvis nice and parallel with the mat. So if it feels like you might be leaning a little farther forward, maybe there's some pressure in the ankles, I want you to just kind of tilt your body back a little bit and think about stacking from that tailbone all the way up to the crown of the head, okay? Now, take your belly button and pull it into your spine. It's a very, very small movement. And then think about pulling your sternum to your belly, also a very small movement. But what we've just done is activated that corseting sensation around our midsection. Maybe your chest started to pull a little bit forward when you did this motion too. If so, that's great. We want to start to peel those shoulders back down behind you. So instead of thinking about our shoulders as the top here, I want you to think about the shoulder blades. So the bottom of your shoulders, kind of at that bra strap line or mid back line. You want to start to peel those shoulders back down towards your tailbone. So this naturally allows the chest to pull forward where we're not like rounding and pushing ourselves forward and creating a concave in the back. So this is that stacking sensation. So when you hear me say, pull in that pelvic floor, this is the stability I want in the pelvic floor. When I say sternum to belly, that's what I'm talking about, is that tiny little pull through the belly button and then the top belly pulling toward that sternum. And the sternum is right where your rib cage and where everything meets, and then the bottom of that, okay? Good. So now that you have this nice strong structure, let's set an intention for class. Maybe your intention is to gain strength, courage, energy, stillness, calmness. Maybe there's something bigger you're working on, like a mantra. Maybe you say the words, I am, and then finish that sentence. Maybe you simply say one word over and over again in this moment. Smile. Drop your chin to your chest. Just a moment of reverence here, sending that intention out to the universe, or just giving yourself some love here, whichever feels best for you in this moment. Soften your jaw. Don't tighten or clench through the jaw today. Let's keep it released and soft. And eye gaze comes forward. Release those hands down beside you. Let's start with a little side bending here. So releasing those shoulders back and down, start to walk your right fingertips away. Drop down to the palm and inhale. Press into your fingertips on the right hand as you lift the left arm up to the sky. Then drop that palm so you can keep that press and push your upper body into that left shoulder so you can feel the extension from that left pinky down the outside edge of that left arm, through that left armpit and into your left hip. You're pushing and anchoring that left hip down. Now, listen carefully. Heel your left thumb back behind you. Start to open up that shoulder. Smile. Don't drop the head. Keep reaching it up to the fingertips. And inhale. Reach those both arms up to the sky. And then drop your left hand down. Start to press those fingertips into the mat. Maybe walk them a little farther away. Then drop down to that left hand and push away on that left hand as you reach the right arm up and over. Feel your right shoulder open and back, peeling your thumb back behind you, open up. Keep reaching the crown of the head toward the fingertips. Don't let it sink down here. And try not to squish into this left side. If you feel like you're sagging here into this left side, walk those fingertips away and push away. Allow there to be a nice little arch through that little, through this left side, as well as the long arch through the right side. Good. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, fingertips down to the right. Once more on each side. Walk those fingertips a little farther away this time. Then push into those fingers. Start to press into the palm as you push that left arm up to the sky. Really plug and anchor into that left hip. Then pull your left shoulder open by pulling that left thumb back behind you. Good. Maybe your eye gaze turns up to the sky. And inhale, come back up. Right hand meets the left. Drop the left hand down. Walk those fingertips away. Keep a nice long spine here. Drop down to the fingers and push away as the palm releases. The right arm comes up and over that right ear. Pushing that right hip back into the mat. Reaching that right arm up to the sky. Pull your right thumb back behind you. Maybe the eye gaze turns up toward that right shoulder, right elbow, or right toward the ceiling. Breathing into that side body, pushing away on this left side. And inhale, reach it back up. Nice job. Hands come through heart center. Let's roll ourselves forward and find our tabletop. Good. This time I want you to keep the toes curled in your tabletop. So if you're like me and those little toes are super little, super short in comparison to everybody else, I just want you to take your fingertips behind you and sweep all of the rest of those toes into play. Okay. Now shift yourself forward. You want your hips over the knees, and then your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders. Okay. Peel the shoulders back behind you. Think about pulling your collarbone between those shoulder blades. Now squeeze into your spider grip, create that suction cup on the palm. On your next inhale, curl onto your toes or keep your toes curled and lift your knees and hover. Just hovering those knees a couple of inches off the mat, pulling the belly button to the spine. Starting to feel a little bit of a shake here. Squeeze that belly button in, hold. Kick your tailbone back, hold. Squeeze the belly toward the knees and then lift your hips up to the sky. Downward facing dog. Start by shaking the head no. And gently nod a yes. Pressing into those fingertips, squeezing into that spider grip. Now try and open some jars with your hands. That rotation in the palms is going to create the eyes, the elbows rotating forward. It's going to melt your chest more toward your thigh. Good. Keep lifting your hips up to the sky, allowing that tailbone to reach all the way up. It should feel like your cheeks are separating apart, okay? Shine that star. Inhale, shift it forward, drop down to the knees. Stay onto those toes. Swim your right leg around and bring it in between your hands. Good. Get the right knee over the right ankle. Bring your hands to your hips and heel the body up. Swing the arms up to the sky. Keep the shoulders back and away. Squeeze those inner thighs. Hold. If you want a little balance challenge, draw your eye gaze up. Hold. Smile. Breathe. Exhale, drop those hands down. Bring your foot. Walk your foot up about 1 foot length. Okay? And then start to pull your right toes back towards your face. So we want to work to keep our left hip over this left knee and squeeze an imaginary block between those thighs. Maybe flex your right toes. Breathe. Feeling the stretch along the right hamstring. And then come back in. Bring that right knee back over that right ankle. Curl onto your back toes and lift your back leg. Place your hands just above that right foot and feel your right knee back into the chest. Kick it back, three-legged dog. Flex your right foot back toward that back wall. Squeeze into that spider grip and press into those hands. So we're really trying to melt our chest toward our thighs here, and we're working to keep those hips square. So we're not opening up the hips here. We're dropping that right pinky toe down and flexing that foot behind us. Good. Exhale to release your right foot down and just pedal it out. Bending from one knee to the other, shifting your heels down toward the mat. Good. And slowly release it down. Keep those knees, those toes curled. Draw those hands underneath you. Squeeze into that spider grip. Pull your belly button in toward your spine. Inhale, hover those knees. Hold. Breathe into it. Squeeze. Starting our next round, kick those hips up to the sky. Find that downward facing dog. Wiggle your hips out a little bit if you need here. Bending one knee and then the other if you like. Heeling your belly button to your spine and shake your head no. And gently nod it yes, ending on that positive note. Nice job. Release back down to the knees, keeping the toes curled. Swim the left leg around up and through, finding that nice little low lunge here. So the left knees over the left ankle, back toes stay curled. Hands to hips, heel yourself up. Swim your arms up to the sky on your inhale, squeezing those inner thighs, peeling the thumbs back behind you, shoulders away from the ears. Smiling here, softening your jaw. In this moment, I want you to say something nice to yourself and mean it. Exhale to bring those hands down. Frame that foot. Walk your foot forward about 1 foot length. We want to keep this right hip over the right knee. So make sure as you shift it back and square your hips, as in squeezing that imaginary block between your thighs here. You're flexing that left foot, toes back toward the face. And if that right hip is over the knee, you'll definitely be feeling the encouragement of tightening up through that midsection or through that
through the legs here, that imaginary block. Keep flexing your left foot, feeling the stretch through the left thigh here, through that hamstring. Heel your left hip back and your right hip forward. Exhale, peel your foot back in, shift it forward, hands meet the mat, curl onto the toes. Kick your left foot back to find a three-legged dog. Flexing your left foot back behind you, peel your left toes down. Press your left hip back by pushing through that heel. Don't lock out for your right knee. Feeling this beautiful stretch here, squeezing into those palms, pressing the chest inside, and then release it down. Pedal it out. Downward dog. Watch your face, baby. Go for it. Thank you. Good. Shake your head now. Let it go here. Nod it, yes. Giving a little thanks. Doing a great job. Inhale, release that right leg high up to the sky. Exhale, bring it tight into your chest like you're a flamingo, bringing your right knee towards your nose and your right heel towards your booty. Then come high on your back toes. It helps shift your body weight forward so you can drop that right foot in between the hands. Square up your hips. So you'll notice every time I bring my foot to my hands, my knee is all out over my, past my belly here. So I always straighten up my leg and then drop that belly onto the thigh so I can square my hips here. It helps me to peel that right hip back and that left hip forward. Good. Left hand into the mat, right arm reaches to the thigh. Find an open twist here, reaching that right hand up, reaching the crown of the head forward, and wiggle those fingers, gather up some. Windmill that right hand down to frame that foot. Good. Now stay high on your toes here. If you struggle with finding the balance, maybe you step your left foot out toward the edge of the mat a little bit, creating like two parallel lines with our feet instead of in line with each other. We want to try and keep this right knee over the right ankle, bring the hands to the hips, and peel the body up. If this is too intense for you today, stay down on that knee like we did on the first round. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Pull your shoulders back and away, eye gaze forward. If you want a balance challenge, look up. Smile, don't hold the breath, hold the pose. Exhale, drop those hands down, frame that foot. Coming high on those fingertips, kick your right foot back, find your three-legged dog. If you're gonna lift this right leg, you're lifting from the right inner thigh. We wanna keep those hips square. Exhale to drop it down, pedal it out, downward facing dog. Shake your head no. Nod it yes. Noticing the difference in the length of your legs here. Let's move on to that other side and then we'll take a break. Inhale, kick your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring it tight in like you're a flamingo. Really peel it into your chest. Get that leg out of the way. Then feel high on those back toes to push your weight forward. This will allow you to be up over your hands here. So all you gotta do is drop that foot in between the hands. It'll get easier, okay? It's taken me a long time to really get the momentum and the movement going there. So once you find this, maybe you walk those feet into that parallel plane, since you already know where we're headed on that other side. First, let's do our twist with that right hand into the mat, left knee over left ankle, left arm swims to the sky, open up. You're working to create a nice long line from that press in that palm on the right hand through the shoulder. So maybe you think about peeling your shoulders back together, squeezing that belly toward that sternum, and reaching that left arm up. Wiggle those fingers, gather that energy, and then rain that left hand down to frame the foot. Finding your balance here, okay? Maybe you lift the hands at first before coming all the way up. Bring your hands to your hips, and then come on up. Maybe you find a spot out in front that you can keep your reflection, your vision pointed on. And then swing the arms up on your next inhale, shoulders back and away from the ear. For that challenge, look up to the sky. Exhale, release those hands down. Bring that foot, heel high on that foot, kick it back, three-legged dog. Release it down, pedal it out, down. Releasing down to the knees. Release those knees wide, big toes touch. Moving into our extended child's pose or our peaceful warrior. Hips to heels, belly between the thighs, forehead into the mat. Soften your breath here, calm it down, come back to your heart rate, breathe. So for our next round, we're going to be moving through a little bit of a warrior practice. We'll get some warrior in, and then likely it'll be time to come down and twist on the floor. See what happens. Timing. So just know that you're very strong. Okay, even if you're feeling weak today, even if you're feeling frustrated today, it's really important for you to understand that deep down, underneath that beat up, ragged doll, right? There is a strong warrior. Sometimes that warrior is at peak, like we are right now. Sometimes that warrior has to fight. When you're in that fight, it can be really challenging. So I encourage you as we move through our warrior practice today, if you fall out, get back in. That's what a warrior does. Continues to push forward. Walk your hands a little farther forward. Start to shift yourself forward, pulling onto those palms to get you up. Bring the knees back underneath you. Palms underneath your shoulders. Press away. Curl onto your toe. Lift your knees and hover, hold. Try and keep that nice right angle with the legs, kicking your booty back, pulling your belly button to your side. Then press your hips up to the sky, and then let your heels drop down to the mat. Shake your head now. Let go of anything that's coming up for you. Soften your jaw and nod it yes. Pushing away from those hands, don't sink into the shoulders. Nice job. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. This time I want you to open stack your legs. So reach your right toes up to the sky. What's going to happen is there's going to be a tendency to try and dump the weight into that left hand. I want you to square your shoulders. So you're pressing that weight evenly between both wrists or both palms. Okay? Point the toe up and maybe bend your knee to create a little arch with that leg, reaching the right toes toward the front left corner of your mat. This is called an arabesque. Now, swim your right leg around, up and through. Pull it through like that flamingo. Come high on those back toes. Drop that right foot in between those hands. Nice job. Here we go. Hands to hips. Heel your body up. Good. See how low you can get here with that right leg. Then rotate on that back foot, turning it so the back foot, the edge of that foot becomes parallel with the back edge of the mat. Okay. Now we're feeling a nice opening through this left thigh. There's a micro bend in the knee on that left side, and we can sink it down to get that right knee over that right ankle. Pull your pelvic floor in to open up these hips. Then tuck your shoulders back and down. See what happened there? They peel down your back. Then reach your palms out beside you. Look past your left fingertips. Pull your shoulders down even more. Then turn those palms down toward the floor. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana. We reverse that warrior by dropping the left hand down just to tickle that left leg. Swing the right arm up to the sky. Look up at it. This is it. Maybe you sink it down a little bit more and that's it. Reach those arms back. Warrior two. Good. We're going to extend our side angle. So bring your forearm of that right arm onto the right thigh and reach your left arm up to the sky. Start to swing that left arm over the left ear to feel a nice shoulder stretch here. You can even drop those right fingertips down on the inside of that right foot and continue the reach. Swing that left arm down toward the mat. Curl onto those back toes and bring your right foot. Kick your right foot back. Find your three-legged dog. Reach that right foot back into the sky. Open it up. Let's find that arabesque. One more time on this side. Swim those toes up and over toward the left side of the mat, and then square your shoulders. Swim that right leg up around and back, and find your mat, downward facing dog. Pedaling it out here. As we start to move further and further into our practice together, we'll start to add on more and more momentum to our practice. Okay, so this is one of those days where we're really gonna hit it hard. Okay, we stay in downward dog, have a resting posture between these two sides. Squeezing into the spider grip, pressing away with those palms, reaching that hip to the sky, right? The most important part is our foundation. Once we have the base of something, we can add on. Inhale, lift your left leg up, open stack here, remembering to press evenly between both palms, pulling your pelvic floor up toward the sky, sternum to belly. Now twist, I shouldn't say twist, bend your left knee and reach those left toes toward the front corner of your mat. Square your hips, pressing your hands equally between those fists or those palms. Keep reaching and then swim that left leg around, up and through, finding your lunge. Square your hips here. Make sure you're on that nice parallel line for a moment. And then hands to hips, heel it on up. Shoulders back, head lifts forward, reach those arms up to the sky and sink it down. Now swing those arms open and bring your right foot to become parallel with the back edge of your mat. Heel your hips open and then sink it down a little bit more. We want to start to feel the openness through this bent knee thigh. Okay. Now your pelvic floor is working to stay parallel with the mat below. We're still thinking about that sternum to belly connection and those shoulders. Ooh, they're going to pull back and down as we open them up. With the palms up to the sky, we're able to peel our shoulders back a little bit more. Sink it down. Turn the palms, look past your left fingertips. Good. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2, say to yourself, I am a strong warrior. Reverse that hand, right hand down, left arm up. Don't press into that back leg. We're simply reaching that left side of the body as we sink it down just a little bit more. Good, unwind, fingertips out. Sink it down a little more. Drop the left forearm to that left thigh. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Then extend that right arm over the right ear. Sink it down a little more. Good. Maybe you drop that left hand to the inside of the left arch and swing that right arm over even more. Good. When you look down, bring the foot from high on those back toes. Kick your left foot back. Try not to touch the mat. As you swing your left leg up to the sky, open up. Reach in that arabesque. Make sure you're pressing evenly between both palms. Make sure you're reaching that hip up to the sky. Make sure you're still extending those toes so that leg isn't just droopy drop here, okay? Swim it around, pedal it out, let it go, downward dog. Nice job. Start to walk your hands back towards your feet, finding yourself at the back of the mat. Inhale up for your half lift, figure 7. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. So press with the feet, climb over my knees. Back one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders back, reach those fingertips down, and then inhale them to come up. Exhale to let it go. 2 more. Inhale. Feel free to use that wide step by sticking your tongue out. Exhale. Last little back bend. Make sure you're tucking that tail to protect the spine. Exhale. Let it go. Nice work. Inhale up. Grab that energy. Pull it down through your heart. Take a moment here to close your eyes, reaching the crown of the head nice and long. Maybe you drop those palms on top of each other, or again, hands in prayer. Just taking a moment to hug that heart, give a little gratitude for our opportunity to float and fly and fall together today. Soften your face, soften your jaw. Release your fingertips down beside you to reach for the floor. You're really reaching those fingertips in opposition to the shoulders. You're really pressing through those feet to feel that energy current pulling up through the. Come here.
Easy. Reaching those fingertips down, shoulders back. Keep reaching the crown of the head long. And then reach the arms up to the sky. Gather up that energy just a little more. Pull it into the heart and hinge it forward. Releasing down into your forward. Inhale up, halfway, figure 7. Really shake your tail feathers here. Work your booty back behind you, nice and long. And then exhale to release it down. So heel toe walk your feet hips distance apart, okay? So hips distance is different for every single person. I want you to take your fists side by side, place them in between the arches, and then just kind of hug your arches on those fists. This is your very own hips distance. And if you look up the leg, you'll see how it connects with your hips, okay? Heels and hips are in alignment. Maybe the knees get in there too. If they're knobby and sideways, it's okay, right? It's okay. Our bodies are all different. So allowing the crown of the head to release, make sure that you're keeping a micro bend in your knees. If we lock out our knees, go ahead and look up here. If you lock out your knees, what happens is you're actually bowing your legs back behind you. See, I'm hypermobile, so that's actually really not good for it. We want to keep that micro bend so we start to activate the muscles that surround that joint. Instead of placing the weight in that joint, we're placing it in the muscle groups, okay? As you inhale next, I want you to lift your feet and place your palms face up, fingertips back, underneath the soles of your feet, allowing the toes to come and kiss at the wrist creases. Okay, Padahastasana from the front here. If this is a little intense for you, you can always take your peace sign fingers and your thumb and wrap it around that big toe instead. Okay, so either option works here. I'll show you both of these as we move through. So micro bending those knees, lifting the hips to the sky, let the crown of the head hang heavy, and allow the grip on your feet. Maybe you bending the elbows out to the side of the room, allows the crown of the head to come down a little bit more. You can also think about tucking your belly underneath your rib cage to fold that belly onto the thighs a little deeper. And you can bend through the knees as much as you need here. You can increase the stretch here by continuing to bend those elbows out. You can also, if you're standing on the hands, think about bending the elbows in toward the shins, okay? That'll give you a nice little wrist stretch too. So deciding where you're at and what feels right is what's important, but we're feeling the release through the spine and the hamstring stretch. If you're standing on the hands, you're also activating the soles of the feet and the palms, connecting those two spots where energy arises and escapes. One more deep breath here, softening to exhale and release just a little farther. And then big breath, exhale, let it go. Hands come out, feet stay where they are. Inhale for a half lift. Maybe your palms come to the shins or to the thighs, squeezing the shoulder blades back, and then soften to release. Press through the soles of the feet, and let's do a slow round up. Just do one last little back bend to counteract that stretch. Shoulders back, heel your fingertips down, tuck through the belly. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And exhale, keep that tailbone tucked as you exhale, let go of something in your life that is ready to release. Inhale up. One more opportunity for that. Exhale, tuck that tailbone, let it go. Inhale up, fingertips pull down through that heart space. Drop your chin to your chest and give a little thanks. Hinge it forward, releasing it down. Find your forward fold. Walk your hands out. Curl onto your toes. Knees go to the sides. And holding here, maybe you walk the heels together and try and sit yourself up a little taller, trying to feel a little bit of a toe stretch here. Or you can come down to the booty if you're ready. Good, soften here, walk it down, sit it down, find your mat. Extend those legs long, walk those heels toward the end of the mat, flex your feet. Then bring your right knee in, hug it to the chest, give it a little squeeze so you can lift up a little taller. Make sure you're still flexing those left toes. Good, now you can keep the foot here or you can cross it over the body, depending on the openness for your hips. Then keep that right arm curled, swing the left arm up to the sky and drop that left arm back behind you.
The shoulder's gonna wanna lift out of its socket. I want you to drop it down and press your palm into the mat. Then maybe you start to twist to bring your eye gaze past your left shoulder. We're twisting from the midsection here. So you should feel this in your mid and lower back. Flex your foot for support on that low spine and lift up a little taller to the crown of the head to support that mid spine. Breathing here, pressing the sole of that foot into the mat. That right big toe is really pressing into the mat for stability. And exhale to soften and release. Round the spine, bring your forehead into that knee. Maybe give it a little kiss while you're here. Feel your belly button back toward your spine. And soften on an exhale. Kick your right foot out to meet the left, sitting up nice and tall. Good. Feel your shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale them back behind you. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears, and exhale back behind you. One more, keep flexing your feet. Inhale up, exhale back and behind you. Good job. Left foot into the mat next to that right thigh, grabbing a hold, giving it a hug, and then peeling your spine up even taller here by holding onto that leg. Flex your right foot and keep that right heel into the mat. You can stay right here or cross that left leg over, depending on the openness in that hip. Okay? Good. Keep the left arm hugging. So the right arm behind you, up and over, and drop the fingertips down. Again, that shoulder's going to be high. Drop the shoulder and the hand will release to the mat. Now, twist with your belly, and maybe your eye gaze turns past that right shoulder. Don't clench through the jaw here. When we're twisting, we're trying not to tighten or hold tight anywhere. We're trying to release by using that breath. So we're not holding the belly here. We are trying to press that big toe of the left foot into the mat for stability. And we're pressing that right heel into the mat. But we're not clenching or holding anything in our bodies here. If there's any tightness in your fingertips or in your hip, use an inhale to bring it in and use that fresh oxygen in that space to soften. And inhale to come back. Wrap those arms around, tuck your belly button to your spine, rounding and curling, forehead into the knee. Maybe you give it a little kiss. And then kick your left leg out. Peel both feet in. Don't go super deep here with those ankles. Just enough that you can sit up nice and tall on those sit bones again. You can even take the flesh and move it out from underneath your bum so you can start to feel that pelvic floor become really parallel with the mat here, okay? Good. As you sit up nice and tall, think about bringing the sternum forward, shoulder blades back. With the soles of the feet together, see if you can get your toes to touch. So big toe to big toe, next toe all the way down to your little toe, okay? Pressing through those toes. Now grab a hold of your ankles and peel your chest forward, starting to lift that pelvis. And we're tilting at the pelvis here, keeping the spine nice and long from the tailbone. You're going to encourage a stretch deep into these inner thighs here. It wraps around to your glute. Maybe you start to hold on to the feet here, bend the elbows in toward the legs, allowing your body to really fold, fold, fold. Maybe you start to find the mat and walk it even farther. You could always bring a pillow or prop if you still have your pillow from last time. Bring it right here underneath your belly and drop it down. Once you get to a certain point, it's okay to start to release the forehead down into a little rounding here. But what I want to encourage you to do is still hold that tailbone down toward the mat so you're protecting your spine. Soften your face, relax your jaw. Use each exhale to soften and fold a little deeper. And then when you're ready, starting to inhale and rise back up. Shoulders back, head lifts. Bring your hands over your heart. Say a little prayer, inhaling big and deep. And exhaling to soften and release that prayer.
Lay down. Start to bring your knees back together. Use your hands for help. Squeezing those knees together. Maybe you wrap a little kid or your fur baby up in the same thigh. And slowly making your way to your back if you can, finding your Shavasana. Laying down, finding a nice place of stillness. We're going to soften and settle in here today. So maybe your Shavasana is you curled up in a ball on the side in fetal position. Maybe you want to come sit up with me to finish out your practice. Just finding a nice long spine wherever you are, and just starting to notice wherever your body is connecting with the mat. Relaxing into the knowingness of your body. This vessel we get to live in, this throne we get to sit upon. This opportunity for us to just really experience human beingness and life. Allow your body to relax in stillness, closing the eyes if they're not already. Coming back to your intention. Having faith, knowing that we've already sent the intention out to the universe. So especially if that intention doesn't come back to you here, just set a new one. Find something else you get to set an intention. With that intention in your heart, breathing into that space. Maybe a smile comes to your face in recognition of that love that's coming from your heart. Taking a moment here to just place that love in your heart and then allow it to vibrate out with each heartbeat, sending it to everyone in your home. And then with the next beat, sending it to everyone in your circle. With the next beat, sending it to everyone in your community. The next beat, sending it out to your country. The next beat, sending it out to the world. And finally, sending it out to the universe, embracing this entire living space that we're in with your love. Allow yourself to find stillness here. Allow yourself to be calm. Taking these moments for you, these moments of stillness are the most important part of your day. Whether it's meditation, 5 minutes in the bath, sitting outside, reflecting on a candle. Whatever it is, finding these moments of stillness is where the magic happens. This is your self-care. Taking just a few more deep breaths here as you settle completely into that stillness. Allowing your breath to become natural. Allowing your thoughts to be more mindful, just saying thank you if anything comes up. No need to fight through or deal with anything right here. Just allowing yourself to be at peace with it and sending the love and light of me, honor, respect, and reflect that very same light that I see shining in you. And I'm sending you all my love today. Both Frankie and I send our love. And with that, I'll just leave you by saying, Namaste. Time here. Maybe you stay in your Shavasana a little bit longer. When you're ready. Coming out slow, making sure the head is lost to rise. Maybe embracing yourself before leaving your. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.